Hello again. This is my finds video from the Chicago VC record store crawl that I did with a bunch of other VC people in late June. Great time. I won't go into too much detail about the crawl itself because I did that in another video. If by some chance you haven't seen the other video, I will link to it below and you can check that out either before or after, or I suppose not at all. This is intended to be just my finds, just the records that I found at on the record store crawl. And actually I have to start off with one that I did not find, but was a gift instead. I met Robert Burns at the hotel in Schaumburg that we were staying at the morning of the record store crawl, and we were all supposed to meet for breakfast, he and Jill Randall and I, and he, when I met him in the morning, he gave me this record. This is a record called Left for Dead by the band Wussy, and it's on cool white vinyl, and apparently they're from the Cincinnati area, which is where he's from, so he brought me some local music from his neck of the woods. Very much appreciated. I have listened to this a couple times and I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to certainly listen to it more. So I really like what I'm hearing, and there's some pretty cool lyrics here as well. So thank you for that. I have one other thank you, not in the form of a record, but Jill, when she arrived at the hotel, well, not when she arrived, but when I met her at the hotel on Saturday morning before the crawl, she gave me a Cuban cigar, an actual real Cuban cigar that looks and smells wonderful. But I did not think to bring that with me when I am just kind of storing it somewhere where I'm keeping it a little bit humid, and I didn't think to bring that with me when I was doing this video. So I apologize. But thank you very much, Robert and Jill, for those wonderful gifts. All right, so record stores. Part of this record store crawl, as I mentioned in the other video, we hit 4 record stores that day in a relatively close area of Chicago. The very first one was the only one of the 4 that I had never been to before, and it was called Dusty Groove. And I've mentioned this in the previous video, but the folks at Dusty Groove were absolutely wonderful to us, and they were happy to see us there and willing to help us take pictures and that sort of thing. They also gave us Dusty Groove record bags, very cool, very sturdy Dusty Groove record bags. Some of the folks were carrying these around all day long in all the other record stores we went into and just filling them up with their records. The first record that I found that whole day, the very first record that I found, was Shawn Colvin's first record called Steady On. And I have to admit that I already have a copy of this record, but it is not in very good shape. It's got an awful lot of ring wear on it, and the vinyl itself is kind of noisy. So I was very happy to find this. Turns out it's a British pressing. Shawn Colvin's first record. So very happy to find that. Very happy to find the replacement copy for the one that I had that wasn't so great. Steve Hackett, Till We Have Faces. I have a number of Steve Hackett records. I did not have this one. I've seen people post it in the VC and thought to myself, I'm going to have to pick that one up at some point. And I did, and the price was right, and so I nabbed it. String Driven Thing, The Machine That Cried. I have to admit I don't know an awful lot about String Driven Thing, but I do know that Hypnosis, our British art collective known as Hypnosis, did a number of their covers, including this one. And I collect Hypnosis covers. So one of the cool things about collecting Hypnosis covers is that sometimes I end up buying records by bands that I'm not all that familiar with. And I've got a couple by String Driven Thing right now, and I like what I'm hearing. And I really wasn't all that familiar with them until I started collecting Hypnosis covers. A record that was behind me here on the on the shelf in the video that I did about the record store crawl was Japan, live in Japan. And I was really, really happy to find this one. I think this may have been my second find. I think I found this right after the Sean Colvin record. But very happy to find this. I have all of Japan's studio records. I have a number of 12-inch singles. I did not have this, so I was very pleased to find it. And then last piece of vinyl I found at Dusty Groove was Mouse on Mars, the Glam album, in absolutely mint shape. So very, very pleased to find this. Looks like it's a German pressing. So very happy with that find. And then the reason I just phrased it that way as far as vinyl is I found one other thing at Dusty Groove, and it's not a record, but it's awesome. I just absolutely love it. This is the book Reggae Sound System, original reggae album cover art. And it's put out by the Soul Jazz Books, which until I saw this, I didn't even know that Soul Jazz did books. Starts out with mento and calypso and goes through ska. Just give you some samples here: ska, rocksteady. Flip to something else here. So it's just absolutely loaded with classic reggae cover art. And as a big reggae fan, I just went nuts over this. The retail on this book is apparently, let me find the sticker here. The retail on this book is apparently $49.95, and they had them on sale for $20, $19.99. And I've looked it up online since then, and they're actually more than $20. So really happy to find that. Just as happy to find that as I was any of the records that I found when I was there. Okay, so from Dusty Groove we went to Permanent Records. I didn't find a lot at Permanent Records, but I did find a few things, and I will share those with you here. One thing I found was a 12-inch single for Nowhere Girl from B Movie. It says factory sealed up here, although it's not sealed, so I'm not sure what the deal is there. This is on Sire, Some Bizarre. I have the full-length record that this came from, but I do not have the 12-inch single, and I've seen people showing it in the VC and been kind of curious about it. I found Dig by Bill Bruford's Earthworks on EG, Editions EG. Pretty happy with that one. Add to my Bill Bruford collection. And then, really happy with this one. This was kind of my prize find from Permanent Records. This is a 10-inch record from David Bowie called Don't Be Fooled by the Name. And don't be fooled by the cover art either, because even though this is definitely the same cover art as, is it Stage or David Live? I don't remember which one, but one of those 70s live records of Bowie's. Same cover art, and you'd think then it would be, you know, tracks from that era. But it is 6 tracks on here, 3 on side 1, 3 on side 2. And I haven't listened to it yet, but looking it up online, I am under the impression that it's much older material than this. So don't be fooled by the name, don't be fooled by the cover either. But as a Bowie fan, I could not pass up a cool-looking Bowie 10-inch record. Alright, so after Permanent Records, we headed up north to the Wicker Park area, ended up having lunch at Peace Pizza, which is either owned or partially owned by Rick Nielsen of Cheap Trick. And then we went around the corner to Reckless Records. Reckless has 3 locations. 3 locations in America. There's one in London as well, but we were at the North Milwaukee Avenue, the Wicker Park location of Reckless Records. And I found a lot of good stuff there, a lot more stuff than I found certainly at Permanent Records. This is Severed Heads. I can't remember the name of this album. Come Visit the Big Bigot. I have a number of other Severed Heads records, but I did not have this one. And it seemed pretty reasonably priced, so I picked that up. Logan convinced me to get this one. This is Cocksure TKO Mindfuck. Sorry, kids. Anyway, this is the first release on the newly resurrected Wax Trax Records. Wax Trax was around in the 80s and 90s, putting out industrial music and that sort of thing from Chicago. And then it kind of fell by the wayside and went out of business. And the daughter of the person who started Wax Trax has now rekindled the Wax Trax fires. So this is a 12-inch, one song on one track on side 1, and then 2 tracks on side 2. And Logan pointed this out and definitely said this would be right up my alley. So I'm looking forward to hearing this. Still sealed. Haven't had a chance to play that yet. I really haven't had a chance to play much from my finds. David B. I'm not sure he wants me to use his name here. I know his YouTube channel, I think, is On the Turntable. We were just talking in a thread. Somebody had posted Peter Gabriel's Passion, and we were just kind of going back and forth in that thread. I said that I didn't know that Passion Sources had been released on vinyl, and he said it has. And now I have proof that it has for myself. Anyway, this is Passion Sources. This is the source music that Peter Gabriel used when he compiled the soundtrack for The Last Temptation of Christ. That's called Passion. So this is on Real World Records, and very happy to find that. It's got a little cutout thing up here, but I was happy with it. I mean, it's a promo, a gold stamp promo on the back. Very happy to find that because I have Passion on vinyl, so kind of cool to have Passion Sources on something other than CD. Ofra Haza, kind of a Middle Eastern Yemenite, I think, pop artist. So definitely in her native style of music, but definitely doing pop music as well. I didn't say that very well, did I? This is Sade from Ofra Haza. I really like Ofra Haza. I sort of discovered her when I was in college, and definitely would like to pick up anything I find from her on vinyl. I have a few CDs, but it's always cool to find vinyl from an artist that you've admired for a long time. Black Uhuru. So we went from the world music stuff into the reggae stuff. I was pleased to find a number of good reggae records at Reckless. Black Uhuru, Chill Out. And this is Creation Rebel. Let me get this on. This is Creation Rebel, New Age Steppers, one of those Adrian Sherwood collaborations. Adrian Sherwood sort of led. I don't know why I'm not coming up with the right words here. Anyway, this was released in 1981, I think. Yeah, 1981, and then just got reissued now in 2014. So Adrian Sherwood and Company, Creation Rebel, New Age Steppers, Threat to Creation. And this is a numbered limited edition. It's not on any kind of fancy vinyl or anything, but a numbered limited edition. And somehow I managed to get 14 out of 1,000. So pretty low number for that. I've listened to this since I've been home, and it is awesome. Oh, Ari Up from the Slits is on here, and Phil Levine from PIL is on here. So, pretty cool stuff. Speaking of dub, and another resealable one I gotta get out of here. Conquerors in Dub. Clock Tower presents Conquerors in Dub. This is another one of those recent reissues on Abraham Records. Family Man Barrett, Sly and Robbie, China Smith, Ansel Collins. Good dub. Very good dub there. And speaking of dub, my final purchase at Reckless. Roots Radix, mixed by Scientist. Dub Seducer, or Seducer dubwise. Awesome cover art there, front and back. Roots Radix, excellent stuff, mixed by Scientist. Cannot go wrong with that. Alright, so that was my finds from Reckless. At this point in the day, we were all getting kind of tired, but we had one more store to make it to, and that was actually one of my favorite stores in Chicago, but kind of one of those stores where you need to hit it first, or at least maybe just go and spend the day just doing that. And that's Logan Hardware. So I'll show you my finds from Logan Hardware. One thing I was pretty pleased to find, even though I generally don't like 12-inch singles that DJs have written all over, but this is the 12-inch single for Peter Gabriel's Steam from the from the Up album, and remixes by Hank Shockley and the Bomb Squad, and so promotional single for Steam from Peter Gabriel. Kind of pick up just about anything I find by Peter Gabriel that I don't already have. Anti-Pop Consortium. The Anti-Pop Consortium versus Matthew Shipp. Very cool to find this. It's a little ragged, a little bent in the corner like somebody dropped the record, but the vinyl itself is fine. It is white vinyl, so I was pretty happy with that. Yeah, I think this may be the very first bit of Anti-Pop Consortium or Matthew Shipp that I have on vinyl. I know I've got a bunch of stuff on CD, but very pleased to find that. And then the rest of my finds at Logan Hardware are reggae records. Surprise, surprise. Found a copy of Israel Vibrations' Unconquered People. Not a reissue on Tough Gong. I'm thinking early 80s. The Itals on Nighthawk Records. This is, read that, Give Me Power. Not really familiar with the album, as you can tell, but I am familiar with the band, the Itals, and very happy to find this one on Nighthawk Records. And then, I just love the title of this record. This is Carlton Livingston, 100 Weight of Collyweed. So, and then, I don't know if you can see this, you probably can't read it from there, but there's a big old bud right there, and then almost a Wikipedia type description of collyweed right there. Just sort of repeated on the banner here. So 100 Weight of Collyweed by Carlton Livingston. Couldn't pass that up. Could not pass that up. And then finally, I was really, really happy to find this record. This is Bunny Wailer, Roots, Radix, Rockers, Reggae. Nice, nice add to my Bunny Wailer collection. Just love this. I love the title track, and Let Him Go, The Conqueror, Rockers. Just, oh man, I just love this stuff. So this is on Shanachie Records. Okay, so that is those are all my finds from the Chicago VC record store crawl. I do, as I mentioned before, I have a link to the record store crawl video below this video. If you go there and you're interested in seeing any of the finds from any of the other folks who went on this crawl, I have linked to those people's finds videos below the record store crawl video itself. Well, at least as many as have made those. And if anybody hasn't made them but will come up with one in the future, and Jim, you promised, I will link those to that VC video when they come up. So, alright, well, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you found something interesting in those finds. I know I did. Can't wait to get to cleaning and spinning. And I will see you folks later. Take care.